You should see me talking. You don't have to do anything. See? So you say something.
Hello. Hello.
Who are you? What's your name?
Hello. This is Linda.
See? There it is. I'm sorry I can't make it any bigger. Okay? So you'll be able to follow.
Good morning, everybody. Brad, are you ready to go over there? Okay. Well, welcome, everyone. I notice we have a typical Bellingham day today. It's beautiful and gray and cloudy, but it's nice and sunny in here, so that's good. I hope you all enjoy the beautiful picture that Tammy made for us this month. It's typically what we would see maybe in a month or so, I hope. Anyway, it's absolutely wonderful. We've got a number of things today. Got to get this one. First of all, we have what I think is one of our more important organizations within the hospital who are going to speak with us today. And the things that they do kind of baffle the mind. And I wanted them to come and talk with us about exactly what they do and why it's good for us that they're here. So we'll get to that in a minute. Remind everybody, we do what we call 50-50. And for those of you who don't know what that is, you walk over here, give them all your money. They'll give you some red tickets. And then just before we have our speaker, we'll make a drawing. And half of it goes to the winner and half of it goes back to our chapter. And that's how we're able to afford some of the refreshments that we serve here and lots of other bills that we have along the way. So we'll do that. We'll do that at our break. I wanted to talk today about what we've accomplished last year. And it's really pretty amazing, I think, for all the things that can go wrong in a year. We had some things that really went right. And I think the most important thing for us to recognize is that the reason we're here as volunteers, as part of this organization, is our desire to be able to help other people who've had heart issues. And especially those people who support them, their caregivers, because it's a long road sometime. And so this is our sole purpose for being here, to make sure we take care of our own. So to do that, we've had some changes this year. We actually were able to certify 10 new hospital volunteers, which is phenomenal for us. These are the people who visit in the fireside room before you go into one of the labs, and then into the hospital where we see heart patients there. And I know at this point, and I have definitive information from Jean, that we've now reached a good relationship with all the nursing teams in the heart patient areas. And they're now telling us, oh, we have a patient who came in last night that you wouldn't normally see because they're going to have a procedure tomorrow. Would you like to see them today? And Jean has told me several times now that people are happy to see us. They feel relief. They feel a little more secure. They feel a little less frightened. I worked with a pre-op patient this week, and I ran into Jean at the hospital again. And he had seen a patient earlier who said, would you please come back and talk to me again? So we can't get much better praise than that. And so just being able to do that is phenomenal for us. And these are part of the 10 people. There's 2 right there, our new ones this last year, making all of these visits. And you'll see that we had 2,600 visits with patients and their families. And because of these people and their efforts, we've increased our visiting from 1,700 in 2024 up to 2,600 this year. Our goal next year is going to be a lot more brave than that because we've got the people to do it. So I'm grateful that you guys are part of this group and helping us achieve what we want to achieve. Oh, there's 2 more people over there who are visitors. Okay. Howard is our go-to man for the pre-op And this is something that we do in conjunction with the surgery's office, where we visit with patients, like I did this past week, who are about to have surgery. And we're able to help them. Well, basically, we answer any questions they have. And maybe don't say anything about the things they don't want to know about. But it's really great. And doing 107 of these last year was pretty cool. I wanted to share with you what one of them said to Howard. We get messages through our website, and they'll come directly into my email. And so I got one day. This lady was concerned about what they were going to do after the surgery. How are they going to be able to adapt and take care of everything? And she was a caregiver, and she was quite concerned about this. So and the gentleman male was having the surgery. So I sent Howard a note, and I said, would you please talk to these people? And he did. And this is what she wrote back to him. Thank you, Howard, for sending this link and for visiting with us by phone. The link is when we do that. Howard and I did this video, if you want to call it that, for people during COVID, so they could have some sort of reference for what they're going to go through. So thanks for sending the link and visiting it with us by phone. We found great comfort in your insights and encouragement. It's already made a huge difference, including our anxiety about Larry's upcoming surgery. We look forward to meeting you on December 22nd. And then Howard did the pre-op with them. So this is the power of the people that we're working with, and that's why we're so important here. And I tell you that I think our meeting membership or attendance has been up this past year. During the course of the year, we've had more than 530 people attend our meetings. And I think that says a lot about the kinds of programs we do and the information we share with the people we care about. Okay. I'm ready. So I wanted to spotlight some of the things within the chapter itself that I think are important. First of all, Deanie Berry, the lady right here, became our treasurer this year, and goodness knows we need her help with that. Gene and Jan, there's Gene, and his wife became our membership co-chairs for the membership, and that's why you'll see them up here doing all kinds of things. These people have already had a large impact on our chapter and being part of our board of directors. We presented 4 members with the Humble Hero Award. There's one right there. People that you don't see too often, they kind of work in the background, but they're very, very important to our success. So that's one of those. And for the second time since 1918, Mended Hearts was awarded the Hospital of the Year Award. And the competition was a few other hospitals around the country, I think 643. So winning the award was a big deal. And we had the opportunity to present that award to Elliot and to Jerry Marshke, and Dr. Tackett was there too that day. And Tammy does my artwork for me. I give her the words and she makes them look great. And I noticed when I looked at this last night, when she sent it to me, that she put her name last, which sounds like Tammy, but she won our Mended Hearts Volunteer of the Year Award, which is a big deal. There are several hundred chapters across the country. So competition there is stiff too. So she is one of our superstars. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about what's coming in 2026. Whew, just lost 10 years. I wouldn't mind having those back though. I want to remind everybody that our meetings for the rest of the year are going to be held on the second Saturday of the month, not the first like they were in the past. Same time, same place, but the second Saturday. And our meeting next month is one that I've really jumped on board with. When I was talking with Karen right there, she's also a member. She's part of the foundation. We were talking about putting together the meeting today, and she said, I'd like to introduce you to the people from the Institute for Nursing Excellence, and we'll make them part of our presentation. So I said, good. By the time I left there, even before I left, I already said to the young woman who manages the stuff, I said, we have to do a separate meeting because there are just so many cool things there. You get to see this, and she's going to bring this with her, a mannequin that they have with the heartbeats. And it's all this is used in their process of training people to be better nurses. And they also had another model mannequin, if you will, that's very lifelike, that's used for cesarean birth. So, and there's just a whole bunch of stuff over there that's so neat. So she's going to bring some of that with her here, and she's going to make us feel good. Important thing about the Institute for Nursing, and I don't want to take Amber's power from her for this, but I was completely impressed to know that the Institute for Nursing Excellence is completely supported by the foundation. This institute works with nurses, giving them extra training, allowing them to have more practices at what they're trying to learn, working with complete medical teams in some instances, and it gives them an opportunity to improve their opportunities within the hospital for higher incomes, for better positions, and all that kind of stuff. And it's all done by the foundation. And this ball of energy that you're going to meet next month. So that's going to be great. During the course of the year, I always liked to have, if you're interested in something that you don't see here, that you think would be an interesting topic, just let me know and we'll see what we can do about it. But we have you don't think about some of these things like, how does your vision affect your heart? You know, how does your teeth affect your heart? So many parts of our body are intertwined in ways that are good and sometimes not so good. So we have a doctor who is a dentist who will come in and talk about, vision and your heart. Okay. Showing the status of the hospital wing and upgrading for the cardiology office. Well, you're going to see a lot of that today. You'll see some renderings all around the room that you'll have an opportunity to go spend time with. And I know nobody wants to admit it, but as we get older, our balance isn't so great. And sometimes we're a little fuzzy-headed. And I was thinking of inviting Dr. Bruce back again to talk about that. He seems to be one of our favorite speakers. And then roundtables, we do them maybe once a year, and where people will sit at a table. This one's had a heart attack. This table over here has had AFib. This one over here has had surgery or TAVR or whatever. And people get to sit in a circle and having like illnesses, if you will, and they're able to talk about it and share information. So we might do one of those again. Dr. King, I cornered him in the cardiology office a couple of weeks ago, and he's happy to come back and talk about TAVR, what's new there, anything changing, that sort of stuff. And then heart and lungs, how they interact with each other. I have a doctor that I'm thinking about to come in and do that. So this is a start for our next year. When we get some of these things more in place, we'll give you schedules for them. So I think, does anybody have any questions? Okay. So we're going to take a break, probably about 15 minutes or so. If you want to do the 50-50, that's up here. Go see these people. Not a member of Mended Hearts and want to join this incredibly great group, go see the man in the red shirt over there. He'll help you. And the membership is at no charge. Mended Hearts International is a huge organization at this point, so like 200,000 members worldwide in, I think, 37 countries, and they're growing. And so we're here to stay, and we're here to be part of your heart family and help you whenever we can. So let's take a quick break, and there are refreshments over here. There's coffee, water, and then we'll come back and have our speaker. Thanks. Okay, welcome back, everybody. You guys get something to eat and something to drink and some conversation here. Last chance for 50-50 in case anybody wants to still do this. Okay. We're gonna draw the lucky winner. Oops.
Sorry, one last.
Tammy's been busy. I had the opportunity to talk with a really nice couple during our break. And they kind of confirmed all the things that we've talked about, where he was in the hospital after open heart surgery and someone from Mended Hearts came to visit him. And that was one of the reasons he decided to come to our meetings. But he said that he really felt all alone, like nobody else knew what he was going through. And meeting someone from Mended Hearts changed that. So those are good things. I like reinforcement. Okay. We have two mathematicians here. How many does it take to count the money? Oh yeah, they still have their shoes. You're right, Jean. We all set?
We have $38 in the pot for the winner
Okay.
and.
Yes.
So the winner gets $38. We get $38. We're going to ask Tori to draw the magic winner.
795-521.
So the 521 is probably the most important number. That's because I think the first two are all alike.
521, I've got it.
Oh. It's a good thing you had her pick that number out, Peter.
The last one I got too.
I'll be
All
darned.
right,
Congratulations.
thank you. I'm gonna donate it back to the Ducks.
And he's going to donate it back to us. We appreciate that. I've had I think, good fortune to know people at the foundation for, gosh, a long time. I think one of the first things we did was during COVID, when our chapter that doesn't have a lot of money, we decided we still wanted to donate funds to two groups at the hospital, one for the little kitchen, and the other one was for one I can't remember. And the people we worked with at that time were just really super about everything. I went to a gala one evening in 2018, I think it was, for the cardiovascular services. And Karen shaking her head, yes. These people do such phenomenal work. You have no idea the stuff that they can do and how much they contribute, their efforts contribute to making our community a much better place. Now, we're interested in it because it's cardiovascular, but there are lots of other things they do to help people. And so I just welcome them back. They have some newer people on staff that I'm sure that Amber will introduce today. But we're delighted to have them back again. And again, I just have so much respect for you guys and the stuff that you do. And I hope that that maybe when you get through with the conversation today and see the things they do, that you will perhaps think about donating something to them, either in your will at the end of your life, or I've heard some phenomenal stories like $10 at a time. You know, it's the humanity of giving back, and that's what we do here at Mended Hearts. So Amber is the person who is now head of our foundation here at St. Joe's. I'm going to ask her to introduce herself a little bit, give us a little bit of her background, and introduce her team, which is here today. So would you please let us welcome her? You have your little thingy remote.
Oh, thank you.
else?
Thank you. I love this thing. Thank you.
Return the other.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's a little laser. Thank you, Diana. Well, thank you so much for having us today and for the warm welcome that we've received. I feel like we're with like-minded and like-hearted people today. I have my team with me here. David Martinson, would you mind raising your hand? He's our Associate Philanthropy Officer and fundraises for many things at St. Joe's, but specifically focuses in his fundraising area in cardiovascular rehab. And then we've got Karen Hagan right there. Karen's been with us 18 years. She's been fundraising for St. Joe's, and before that served on the board for Whatcom Hospice Foundation. So Karen's been involved in fundraising for many, many years. She is our service line lead for fundraising for cardiovascular. And then we've got Tony Stopperin here. And Tony is our director of philanthropy, and he is heading up a fundraising initiative right now for Dr. Jim Douglas and his retirement. And I'll give Tony a little bit of time to talk about that in a bit. So my name is Amber Osbjornson. I am the Chief Philanthropy Officer for our foundations in the Northwest. And I moved up here to Bellingham in 2000 to finish college at Western. And then I began my fundraising career, and the majority of my fundraising career was at Western Washington University. I was there almost 19 years before I came over here about 3 years ago to take this role. One of the things I really love about healthcare philanthropy specifically is that it feels a little bit closer to the heart. Healthcare is a basic human right, and I and my team feel very strongly emotionally connected to the work that we do. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what philanthropy is like and what we're fundraising for at St. Joe's. One of the things I want to make sure you know first is that 100% of every gift that is made goes directly to the project or program that you donate to. So our positions and our budget are all funded by Peace Health, which means we don't take a cut of your gift at all, which is not like many other organizations. Okay. My clicker is not working. Oh, that's okay. Okay. Oh, I don't think it was. Oh, that's okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Okay, great. So Peace Health is a nonprofit healthcare system, and in that system, we have 8 individual foundations that raise money to support patient care. St. Joe's is one of them. Who we are. So there's the Columbia community, which has 2 foundations in it. Northwest Community, which includes, of course, St. Joseph Medical Center Foundation, also Ketchikan Medical Center Foundation, and Whatcom Hospice Foundation. And then the Oregon community has 3 foundations. The total that we raised across Peace Health for patients and programs is around $40 million annually, and we raised last year nearly $11 million for the medical centers in the Northwest last year. So our team is very busy. We have about 7,000 community donors every year, and that goes anywhere from, like Diana said, you know, those donors who give us $10 a month to the donors who give us millions of dollars. And we really care about every single one of those donors because we know that when someone gives money, it's something that really matters to them, and we consider them a part of our family. We get about 2,000 new donors every year. And our Peace Health caregivers actually give. We raised $4.5 million last year from our very own caregivers who are staff, doctors, and nurses who give back. It's pretty incredible. Yes. So the 4.5 million is a part of the 40 million annually. So that's the money we raised from all 8 foundations. I don't have specific numbers today for just here, but it just gives you a good idea of how much our staff and caregivers are giving back. Okay. Okay, I said this already, but 100% of every contribution stays in the community. Oh, I didn't say this. Okay, so 100% of the contributions that you make stay in the community where you make them. So sometimes it's a little confusing and our community wonders, well, if I give to St. Joe's, I don't want that to go support Vancouver, or I don't want that to support another foundation or hospital in the Peace Health system. If we raise money that for St. Joe's programs, stays in St. Joe's programs. And that's a really important thing that I want our community to know. Each foundation has its own 501c3 designation. Obviously, donations are tax deductible. And our staff works really closely with the leaders of our St. Joe's community to identify what the initiatives are that we'll be fundraising for. Right now, cardiovascular is one of the highest, most important fundraising initiatives that we're involved in, and I'm going to dig in a little bit deeper on that. This is our team. You can see that we have some of us here already. This is so cute. Our foundation philanthropy coordinator, Trisha Head, made this adorable PowerPoint. I just love that we're all in hearts. It's so cute. Okay, so there's me. Lauren Zanonian is our executive director for Whatcom Hospice Foundation, so he focuses his fundraising efforts there. Tony's here, Karen is here, and then we've also got Britt Kane. She's a philanthropy officer. David Martinson's here, and then Renee Reynolds runs our events. And then we've got Trisha Head, who supports St. Joe's Foundation, and we've got Jen Coe, who supports Whatcom Hospice Foundation and Ketchikan Medical Center Foundation. Okay, so why do people give to Peace Health? There are a number of reasons why someone might make a contribution, and they are varied and as individual as the people that we work with. The majority of our donors are grateful patients, so they've had an experience that has changed or altered their life, and they are grateful for their doctor, or they're grateful for the nurses, or they're grateful for the care that they've received. We love working with grateful patients. We love hearing about their stories and what has inspired them to give. Sometimes we get gifts from people because they don't like the care that they received, or they are frustrated that they couldn't get access to an appointment, and they know that making a gift creates better access, or that supporting a new piece of equipment allows us to get patients in faster and more thoroughly. So that's always an interesting conversation to have with someone. It's like, here's $100,000, please fix this thing. Okay, great, we will. They give something because one of the powers of philanthropy is like, we're all just one person and we can do as much as we can. When you give money, it's like multiplying yourself and the things that you really care about. So some people give because they know that they're supporting the work of many people to help the community at large. And they give because of doctors, nurses, environmental services, cafeteria staff, schedulers. It isn't always just the direct care team. There are actually health benefits to being philanthropic. This is proven. So it reduces your blood pressure when you give money. It apparently makes us happier by 10% when we're philanthropic. It makes us more optimistic. It improves our sleep, increases frequency of exercise, It strengthens the immune system and actually improves pain tolerance. They've done studies on this. Pretty incredible. So what can donors fund at Peace Health? We have a lot of fundraising initiatives, and I'm going to dive into some very specifics, but there are over 40 funds that we have at St. Joe's that people can give to. So cardiovascular, we've got Institute for Nursing Excellence, we have Institute for Physician Wellbeing, we've got a fund for cancer patient experience, we've got a fund for cancer research. There are tons of ways that you can support exactly what you care about. We also have the unrestricted fund at St. Joe's. So if you just write a check or go online and give a gift to St. Joseph Medical Center Foundation, that goes into our unrestricted fund. And then we have a board of directors who help decide how those funds are used. So we'll receive funding requests from caregivers and physicians that come through to me. And then we'll bring those requests to a foundation board meeting, first through finance committee and then through the foundation board meeting. And then the foundation board will approve, typically, funds to support what our caregivers are requesting. So that's always a really great way to know that your money is going to whatever the most important or emergent need is. If you're not sure exactly where you want to give, you know that there's a group of 20 individuals who are helping decide how that money gets used. Okay. I'm really excited to share this with you about the new pavilion that we have supported through our fundraising efforts. And you'll see that we have renderings of the new pavilion around the room. What we're doing, and you may have noticed there's a lot of construction going on right now at St. Joe's, and that's because we're starting to build a whole new hospital expansion. So it is 120,000 square feet, 6 new floors. The top 2 floors will be for women and children. We're going to have an expanded emergency department. So the emergency department right now, I don't know the last time any of you have been there, but there's 2 wings of the emergency department. When we're very full, sometimes people have beds in the hallway. It's really not the best. And to be honest, it's actually like it has a super ugly entrance too. And we think of the emergency department as the front door to the hospital. And so over here, where was it? Over there, thank you. My wonderful colleagues pointing me in the right direction. So this will be the new entrance to the emergency department. So it's staying exactly where it is, but it's going to get a total facelift. And then it will expand. So here's the emergency department now, and this is the new pavilion here. So right now, emergency takes up that much space, and it's going to go all the way into the new building. Another really exciting addition is a rooftop helipad. So right now, our helicopter lands behind the hospital, which means then you actually have to have an emergency vehicle meet the helicopter. You have to get hooked into an emergency vehicle, and then driven half a block, and then taken in through the emergency department. So having a rooftop helipad will not only reduce time in really critical moments to go directly into the emergency department, but also reduce costs for our patients, because it actually adds a layer of financial burden for people when there's an emergency vehicle cost, even though they only had to drive you half a block. We will keep the helipad in the back for larger helicopters, sometimes military or marine helicopters have to come in, and they're too heavy to land on the rooftop, but the majority of the in and out will be. So we're really excited about that too. We also fundraise for Institute for Nursing Excellence, which you're going to learn about next meeting, February 14th. We love our partners at the Institute for Nursing Excellence, and Diana mentioned this, but the The entire program is 100% funded by philanthropy, would not exist without it. And that's one of the things that's really powerful about philanthropy is we can do things like this where it's a $450 million project about for this new expansion, and we raised just over $100 million to support it from our community, which means you can kind of think about it as like a down payment on a big project. So super helpful when philanthropy can help get a big project approved and fund it. And then you also have something like Institute for Nursing Excellence, where a program would not exist unless it was funded by our community. Okay, we can go on. So let's talk about cardiovascular services. What are we doing right now? It's very exciting. So right now we are working on a couple of things. I'm going to start with Cath Lab 1. So each year, Cath Lab supports nearly 60% of all of our cardiac catheterization procedures. So we need to update the imaging system. We're constantly having to upgrade our systems because eventually they age out, and this kind of equipment is really expensive. So we're collaborating with Peace Health to help fundraise for that project. And then we're also expanding and creating a new electrophysiology lab. I think it'll be our fifth. Is it our fifth lab? Yeah. Which will improve access and support our growing community. The electrophysiology lab will be about a $10 million project, and I have committed to our CEO, Chuck Prosper, that we will support it at $5 million. So we are raising money for that right now. We've raised about $1.5 million now so far. Okay. And then I'm going to have Tony come up here and talk about our fundraising initiative for Dr. Jim Douglas, because he is very closely involved.
Good morning, everybody. Morning. Oh, and a response that felt like church. I'm Tony. I'm the director of philanthropy. I have the honor of being friends with and getting to work to support Dr. Jim Douglas and his endowment. Anybody familiar with the work or practice of Jim? I had a feeling that might be the case. 1994, we were launching cardiothoracic as a need. So much about Peace Health St. Joe's is the market demand on the healthcare needs, and this organization knew this community needed a cardiothoracic program. So they went across the nation to try and find the best. And if you know Dr. Douglas, you know we got the best. I think it took a dinner out on Lummi Island at sunset to convince him to go, well, that was cheap. Sunset at Lummi Island. I guess Veronica and I are moving here. Jim went on to save literally, zero hyperbole, thousands of lives in his nearly 30-year career here. It's the second time in our foundation's history that we've honored a physician by establishing an endowment. The first one was Dr. Trenuth, and the second one is Dr. Jim Douglas. We said, you have made such a generational impact on the healthcare and the well-being of this community. We are establishing an endowment in your honor. He was very, very humbled by that honor. And he was very humbled that after, 5 minutes of establishing it, an anonymous donor made a $50,000 gift to his endowment. Jim's legacy, it's been a joy to work with former patients of his in their contributions, because I also get to hear their stories. And everyone starts with, Dr. Douglas saved my life. Everyone, saved my life. Save my life. And I've got to hear from Jim these things that he didn't really piece together about his impact until he started looking back on his impact, where he'll be in Hagen's parking lot, and someone will say, "Hey, Dr. Douglas," and he'll turn and they'll say, "I just want to thank you for the 30 extra years you gave me with my dad." And when you think about thousands of lives that have been saved by Dr. Douglas, that's hundreds of thousands of birthdays and Christmases and Hanukkahs and all those milestones that family members and neighbors and friends get to share with their loved ones. And Jim's endowment is in his name and it's in his honor, but the focus is the cardiothoracic program. So that in 30 years, the program that he helped establish and trailblaze and lead will have the resources for the next generation of community members and surgeons and caregivers for that piece of equipment. Because the foundation exists to put the gas pedal down and expand and excel the services that those clinicians and caregivers are providing. So when they're looking for that piece of equipment that might take a year or two to get through the system, through the business of Peace Health, that the foundation's there to go. You've got it through the Jim Douglas Endowment. That nurse that needs specialized training in this new technique can go to the conference for a week to get that additional training so that they can provide those services. So for the cardiothoracic program, Jim Douglas's endowment, Karen, can you hold that up? There's flyers that has his picture on it, and they're sitting up here. If it's an area of support that you might consider to in honor of Dr. Douglas, I'd love to hear your story of care from him, because I'm gathering those and helping to inform of the generational legacy and the impact that he's had. And if it's something that you'd be interested in support, I'd love to hear you. David would love to hear from you. Amber, Karen, he's a friend of mine. I care a lot about him, and I wish I was a better golfer so he'd stop stomping me. But he'll have more time. He just retired. December 31st was his last day. He'll have some transitionary time as they continue to onboard and transition some patients out. But it's my honor to work to build out the endowment, and I'll turn it back over to Amber.
Thanks, Tony. You can see how passionate we are about the work we do. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about ways you can make a gift. So I told you that there are tons of funds to support. You can go online and make a gift. You can leave us in your estate plans. You can have a conversation with us about ways to ease your tax burden. We're here for you. So if you'd like to join us for coffee or have a tour or tour behind the scenes at the cardiovascular unit, please let us know. We have some brochures over here on Jim Douglas, and we also have, this is our little collateral piece on the fundraising we're doing for cardiovascular. So on your way out, please grab one of each just so that you can dive in a little bit deeper. And then we also have little smaller guys that just have like a quick little link and Karen's information. And then I am going to hand this over to Karen in a minute to talk about legacy. But before I do, I just want to make sure that before you leave, you take some time to walk around and look at the renderings of the new pavilion. These first few are these just regular hospital rooms, these ones? Okay. What the new hospital rooms will look like. And then along the back wall right here is what our new birthing rooms will look like, labor delivery. This is a bathtub actually right here, which is super cool for women who want to labor in the tub. And there's actually, you can't really tell, but there will be space for the caregivers to walk around the tub so that they can help access the patient. And then the babies will be able to stay in the same room as the moms. And there are some, there's a great spot that you can't really see where where their partners can actually sleep and stay with them, which is really neat. So take some time to look at all of that. We're very excited. And, and then there's some along the back wall, which are that will be the new lobby when you first walk in to the pavilion. Yes, thank you, Vanna. There you go. Yep. So I encourage you to reach out to us, and we look forward to having conversations with you. I'm going to pass the mic over to Karen to close us out to talk about how to create a legacy at St. Joe's. And then we'll open up for questions.
idea. Questions. Just a few words about legacy and estate planning. Our team often talks to people about how they want to give, but they're like, I don't know how long I'm going to live. I don't know how much money I'm going to need. I just can't do it right now. And that's where the estate planning and the legacy comes in. So at your end of life, your final say, your estate will go to your heirs, to nonprofits that have been meaningful to you, like Mended Hearts, the Medical Center Foundation for Cardiovascular, or it can go to the government. And with careful estate planning, right now, a lot of people are thinking, I want to leave less to the government. And so there's really creative ways to assist in that. And our team here would love to meet with you and talk to you about what some options can be. It's probably my favorite part of my work, is the estate planning. And we do have some resources and tools to help support you in that discovery, if that's something that you want to learn more about. And again, the flyers there have our contact information to get a hold of us. If you're going, I remember those foundation people, but how do I get a hold of them? So we're always here to help. There's never any pressure whatsoever. We're just looking for partners and grateful patients that want to continue this good work, not just for the care that we need, but for our friends and family and generations beyond. So hand it back to Amber for Q&A.
Thanks, Karen. I'd love to open it up for questions if anybody has any.
Buddy?
Okay.
I would like to take a minute, though. I do have two Dr. Douglas stories.
Oh, great.
March the 5th, 2012, he and I spent a very intimate 6.5 hours together. I don't remember any of it. And right after that is when our chapter started, and Mary, Mark, and Diana and I, if I miss anybody else in the room, were some of the original charter members. So we've been around the block, and I got two stories. I help out in cardiothoracic surgery office with pre-ops. I had a patient one time. He was a teacher at an American school over in Thailand. His sister worked at Sacred Heart in Spokane. He called her. He says, I need heart surgery. I'm coming home. He says, can you set me up with something? I can, but she says, go to Bellingham.
Wow.
Number two, Men at Hearts International had a Western Regional Conference in the Mission Viejo, California hospital. Our son and daughter-in-law, 3 grandsons, lived 2 exits up from the hospital. I said to my wife, we're going to go to this conference. I can write it off on income tax, yada, yada, yada. So we go to the conference because there's a doctor there speaking on TAVRs. And when I had my surgery in 2012, Dr. Doug, TAVRs were new, and Dr. Doug, I shouldn't be saying TAVR because, well, it's okay. Dr. King's not in the room because it's a TAVI. He'll give you a very polite lecture. But anyway, Dr. Douglas and I were talking the difference between mechanical and biological valves. He says, I prefer biological, but don't last forever. But this new thing is on the horizon. This new thing was being a topic of discussion in Mission Vale by this doctor who's already started doing some of them. I went to the conference. I listened to him. I wanted to go up and talk to him later. I go up to him. My badge just has my name, first name. All it says is Peace Health, St. Joseph Medical Center, nothing else. I walk up to him and he just looked at it and he said, Dr. Douglas? I opened up my shirt and said, yep. Here I am, 1,300 miles from home, and this guy right away just saw this and he said, Dr. Douglas.
Wow.
That's a testimony.
Sure is.
And I understand the golf, believe me. I ran into him. I was very fortunate. I ran into him Christmas Eve day in the back stairs of cardiology. And I thought that's probably the last time I get to see him. And I just thanked him for everything. And I said, guys like Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle, my idols, are dead, but you're still here. So thank you for being my idol. That's really it.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Oh, great. Love to hear it.
Well, it's not about me though, but it's my husband. We moved to Bellingham. I'm a Washingtonian all my life, but anyway, we lived around the country. We moved to Bellingham in 2000, very late 2000. And within a matter of weeks, my husband had some kind of cardiac event that we didn't like, what is going on? And my husband did have congenital heart defects. He had a congenital coarctation of the aorta, and it was repaired when he was 16, back when it was kind of pioneering. Anyway, so we get to Bellingham, and just a few weeks later, Bill, my husband, had an issue, and we ended up seeing Dr. Douglas, and Bill had a ruptured sinus of Valsalva aneurysm, which a lot of cardiovascular or cardiothoracic, surgeons never see in their lifetime.
Wow.
And Dr. Douglas did the procedure and it went well. It literally saved my husband's life. But then Dr. Douglas told us afterwards, he said, well, you were in the right place at the right time because I've only done one other. And it was back when he was at Duke University. So yeah, that was amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
I
So
think that's one of the really incredible things about St. Joe's and cardiovascular at St. Joe's is that you can get every single thing that you need done here. You don't have to go anywhere. And other people come from other places to get their heart surgeries and procedures done. The only thing we don't do is a heart transplant, but everything else
Yeah.
you can get done here.
so anyway, I have, the deepest respect for Dr. Douglas, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Anybody else?
I just want to brag a moment. I'm from Anacortes, and we got our helicopter landing on the roof before you did.
Oh.
I want to counter that because
Ew.
when I had my surgery, I was running 412 and I could lay in bed and watch the helicopter come and go. And you can't believe that was the highlight of my week. And now you're moving it.
I know, you know what? You're not the only one to have mentioned that they're sad about that because those are the best rooms to get. It's pretty entertaining to watch them come and go.
We had a flight nurse as a speaker one time. I brought that up. I said, thank you for what he said for coming and going. I said, I had nothing else to do for a week except walk around that fourth floor.
Yeah.
Anyway.
One of the other things that we'll be adding once we add the new pavilion is a healing garden. So there will be quite a large garden that will come out from the building, which will give our patients somewhere to go to and wander around. Yeah. Tony?
Caliber Center. Oh, a little bit on their path to 32 weeks and how the foundation supports that and what that means for the pavilion as it relates to gestational weeks for moms and babies.
Sure. Yeah. And maybe you can help me if I don't cover exactly what you hope I do. So one of the cool things about upgrading our women and children's and our birthing center and moving it into the new pavilion is that will enable us to keep our babies here longer, which basically means that you probably know some people who have had babies prematurely and then their baby had to go to children's and then the families would have to drive back and forth to go see the baby. It's a big strain. And plus also, when you have other children at home, it can be really difficult to try to be in both places at once. So we're going for or will be going for a level 3. It's level 3 NICU, right? Because right now we're level 2. Yeah. So that will enable us to go to a level 3, which means we could keep babies as early as 28 weeks. If I remember correctly. Yeah, it's probably no, it's not.
Yeah, the space won't be limited by any sort of advancement. We're at 32 weeks, and that took 2 years to get the training and the funding. The foundation supported the Childbirth Center in their advancement of training equipment so that what was 34 weeks that we could have babies born here at St. Joe's and in our community reduced down to 32 weeks. And for like a real human stat, that's 2 families every month are able to have their baby. 2 families here, instead of having to go down to Children's or Everett, are able to have their babies here every single month because they got that advancement. That was underwritten by the foundation, those trainings, pieces, equipments, giraffes, incubators, to have those newborns. And in the pavilion, the footprint of a labor and delivery room and the childbirth center will not be limited by space. If they have the goal to get that gestational age down to 22 weeks, 27 weeks, that next level, that the space will not be a limiting factor. There'll be more advancements in equipment and more advancement in fetal medicine specialists that would have to come in, but this space will not limit the level of care and the birth age for the new moms. Because as Amber mentioned, the goal for Peace Health is keeping the care in the community that our patients live in, keeping care close to home. And so for moms and babies and families where that's a huge impact to have to make that commute, that's a priority to make sure that we create a space that we can continue to advance the level of care for those young babies.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well said. Pretty exciting. Any other questions or final words? Well, I hope today that you learned that that fundraising professionals are actually really nice, normal people who are not scary, and that we love the work we do, and we love getting to know people, and we love benefiting this local hospital and the programs and the patients and the caregivers. And we consider ourselves a part of the care team because of that. And we also consider our donors a part of that care team as well. So I just really want to thank you all so very much for giving us a chance to share a bit about the work we do, and encourage you to reach out and connect with one of us. Thank you.